Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast, and today is 11/26/24. I was about to say 26 again, but like we're skipping 1 year or 2 years. But if you haven't heard us, man, you gotta go hear us. You gotta go listen to us.
If you just started listening to us now, go back in time, listen to more.
Yeah, and if you don't know, today's co-host is Julian, and I am Jordan. Nice to meet you, Julian.
Nice to meet you. It's been
they might not know. So how are you doing today?
Couldn't be better if I tried, and believe me, I have tried. I'm kidding. It's actually been an okay day so far.
Yes, well, got a little bit of discussion going on here.
A lot of discussion. What are you talking about?
Not a lot of transfer lately because the season is full in.
Oh yeah.
So we gotta wait for the summer mercato, or however you summer transfer, or the winter transfer. Well, the winter before summer, I guess. I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of transfer this winter.
Yeah, it's gonna be all maintenance based stuff, and you got to think that Real Madrid's gonna be in on that action. They have to be.
Yeah, I feel like they might get some low left back or right backs. I don't know. They gonna get in some action for sure. I know United's not gonna get anyone, and if they do, it's gonna be a young player, an aspiring young player
from Ajax,
promising. Might be. Well, this time might be from Sporting.
Dude, wouldn't it be so fucking funny? I'm just daydreaming about that scenario. Like he just Emram goes, okay, seriously, hear me out, guys. There is this one player from Ajax. That'd be so great. I really hope that happens. Oh wow,
it's gonna be difficult, man. But I know they know because the way Ineos is cracking down. I heard, actually was reading, they have cracked down to the point where they are saving 11% financially. And they probably envision, doing some more shuffling financially. Means if you got to go on your high salary, producing, they might call it quit. This new group is not really there for the shenanigans.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how quickly that they adapt. Some people are very divided about how he's looked so far, how the team's looked so far. They've said that the energy is up, and I believe them. In the training ground,
I can see. I kind of saw that a little bit this game where, if you didn't see United Ipswich, is it Ipswich?
Yeah.
The thing that I saw that was apparent is the will to play.
Yeah,
I wanted to do. It was different. Even Rashford was going on that. He was doing things,
and that's what I'm saying too. I mean, it was a 1-1 draw against Ipswich. Even though, you're away from home. United still need to be taking those points home, and I don't think anyone can disagree that it seems like the morale is higher, and that's a good start. But the results are not quite smashing yet, so we will see how that goes. Again, but didn't he come out in a press conference and kind of say it was going to take some time to get used to it anyway? Yeah.
I get that. I give him at least. To be honest, I think I will give him the whole of this season to kind of figure it out, and next season come back where I'm really expecting. Because you think about his football of play, his style of play, his ideology and philosophy, trying to establish that with the fact that I think they're not gonna go for because a rumor that I also read that Ineos they're not thinking about buying anybody because they lost a lot. And you got to recover those expenses somehow. So either, like I said, it would be players, the low cost, promising players, and try to figure out how the system will work. And, and probably get some players that are just there for spaces out. So you can tighten the group. So I'm expecting a lot of things just to see how this one also will work. Now, if you're not following the Premier League, it's a lot of good things happening there.
A lot of weird things happening.
It's nothing is for certain. On the other hand, you have a team that can lose to Ipswich, then smashes City 4-0.
And most good things in life are weird, so it makes sense that it would be a very weird season.
Yeah, and whatever, but. For sure, one person that stay consistent is Liverpool. Leading with they have 31 points and they're leading the second. The second is City, so we can be talking like that. But City is still in top. It's just that City is just in a weird position that we're looking at them and like, oh, what?
The drop off is very steep.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's still saying that it's a 3-horse race with Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. People are wanting for the City odds to go down but with the 1 point above Arsenal, like they're still both in. If there is a race, they're still both in it. But I don't believe that there's really a race that's still going on.
You think we're coming to the end of our era, or this just might be a shaking season for them?
I think that it's both, but I don't think that because everybody thinks that it's a complete and total collapse. Do I think that they'll get to the same standards that they were at? No, I don't think that they will ever again, period. But do I think that they will improve by the end of the season? Yes, they will go on another winning streak of some sort. It's not going to be, they're not going to lose 20 games straight. It's just not going to happen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everyone's saying that it's, the end of, that it's like a cataclysmic kind of a thing. It's like, no, they will steer the ship back. They will finish top 3 in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's one of those where you suffer from your own greatness, where coming in second or coming in third it's a travesty for you.
It's frowned upon. Well, at least Pep Guardiola said we are fragile defensively, and Guardiola admits title hopes are fading. And I know he said somewhere too that it's difficult to win the season consecutively. Even for the best of the best, something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Well, he even said that if they lose at Anfield, December 1st, that it's over. Because mathematically that is true. Nobody in the Premier League era has come back from that big of a point deficit in the last 30 years.
Yes.
So, and as a coach, that's a responsible thing to say, because you're not lying to your players. There's a difference between giving them confidence and giving them hope and inspiring them. But sometimes you inspire them by giving them those cold, hard facts and saying, this is the last run that you had. Like, these 3 points, and this doesn't even guarantee that you're back in this thing. This just means that you're not going to lose today.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty wild.
It's crazy because I think the press conference after the loss, he was like, let's focus on Feyenoord. It's Tuesday, so trying to get qualified. And guess what? They just drew against Feyenoord too. And it's crazy because Feyenoord apparently had a comeback at
we were talking about that right before we started rolling.
Close to the end of the game. So
all 3 of the Man City goals were smashed in around halftime, and then within the last 25 minutes or so, I told you, I was like, I have to go back and rewatch the last 25 minutes in full to see exactly what happened and to see, you don't want to see players' morale drop. It's not like a personal thing, but like, I've got to see the things that are not going to be in the highlights. I've got to see the reactions of the players and Pep, and just like, because there's got to be more going on internally than.
And that's another thing about the whole City saga right now. And it's not just that you guys are losing, but it's consistent. Once there's consistency, there's a real problem. And I know they talked about defense, and us. A lot of people might say it's because also Rodri is not in the game.
I was gonna say it's like partly the midfield as well, and it's not just because they're missing Rodri. There's a static quality to them. There's really no build up. Gundogan does not have the legs to keep tracking back like he did. 2 of those goals at least were him pointing off to Akanji or Stones going, you got him. And they're like, wait, what? I do? And then no one did. And that's how it came in. So
that's interesting. Wow. Well,
and Vardiol was not looking great either. It's like partly the communication between the defense and the back line, but how many times was Vardiol completely carved inside out on that side? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's pretty wild.
And you figure Chelsea is not so far, which Chelsea is 3rd, Arsenal 4th, Brighton 5th. And man, the team that is surprising the most for me this season is Nottingham Forest, although they lost against Arsenal. So that's but before we go to the Arsenal game, but Liverpool recent form though, if you think about it, and we talked about it probably a week ago, their consistency is really on point. I'm talking across the board. And Mo Salah scored, I think he's I forgot what's that again, but in the Premier League, he scored something about being in the top 10 or something. But it's really interesting looking at Liverpool that when they play, it's a weird feeling where it's like they master what they have. And they do with what they have, they get the best.
And this was the first week in a while that they looked kind of shaky. Because they did have to have a comeback against a Southampton side that is dead last. But we've had the conversation about Man City, about Arsenal, and about Liverpool, like the sides that end up going on to really challenge for the title at the end of the season. Even when, a 10-1-1 record is great, not every single one of those wins is going to be a lights out smashing, but it's about coming back and digging out that result. Arsenal was really good at doing that 2 seasons ago, going on these massive streaks, but it didn't mean that they were playing perfectly every single week. Man City was always that way as well. So it's the great sides that are able to still dig out a positive result even with a lackluster performance, because they did look a little bit weak defensively, and they needed Mo Salah to really bring them to come back, and he did. That's what matters.
Yeah. That's another thing. And if you look at it, like, I would say their front attack is they're really synchronized. The chemistry is there, and I think that's what City is missing right now. Yeah, which they always had, but you can see how anything is not connecting. They're not. If you watch the game against Tottenham, Tottenham closed them down. They took away the spaces from there. It became really difficult to play. So and Liverpool kind of operate. When I look at them, I feel like it's slot system, but I can see also the rapid, quick counter attack that they used to have or execute every time, and they don't play around when it comes to that.
Well, then let me ask you a question really quick about the attacking front of Liverpool. Sneaking out a 3-2 victory against a bottom, side of the table team. Do you think that 27 shots with 11 on target and only 3 goals as a result is that a little wasteful?
So this is what I think for Liverpool. They don't have the precision because some team lack the precision. Yeah. But because they lack the precision, they can score or they can win certain games because you really need someone that, when worse comes to worse, he's going to take, especially in the attack, being your striker, he's going to take that chance and get it in, right? Yeah. But the difference with Liverpool is with teams that lack the precision and cannot score, aka, Arsenal, teams like Liverpool will keep banging until they get it. That's a little bit different. It's like you think about it's like a locomotive. It's a train. It never stops. Yeah,
and because Nunez is not the most consistent. Yes. Diaz, even though he didn't start, is not the most consistent. I think that Gakpo works pretty well. And people are going to say that it's kind of crazy for me to say this, but you watch the games and you see it, regardless of the stats. Mo Salah's not the most precise player. He is kind of like all over the place, little Tasmanian devil. Like, not everything that he shoots is convincing. Yeah. Not every bit of skill that he uses to get past a defender actually works. You know what I mean? Like, when you watch him, you see that it's kind of a ragged style of play. Yeah. When you put his highlights together, he looks like the greatest of all time, and the stats are reflecting that as well. But it's like Michael Jordan highlights. They don't put any of the shots that he missed in there because he still missed a ton. Yeah. So it is interesting.
So are you saying Michael Jordan is not the greatest of all time?
No, he is. That's what I'm saying. But even your guy Salah, that's clutch in a lot of cases. 27 shots, 11 on target. That's a lot of opportunities from the entire side.
Yeah, it's output against input, right? It's like there's a lot more output, and the efficiency doesn't really, if you had to scale it on 1 to 10 across the board of efficiency, he's not that efficient in the sense that he has a lot that's been just a lot of output without really the efficient part in there.
27 shots, 11 on target with 3 goals. You got to think with a front side that's that good at the top of the table, it should have been 5-2. Yeah. It should never have been a comeback required, I think. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just think that what they do is because you look at it too, Salah is not playing the striker, and there's also a good reason. He probably is more productive on playing the right wing than being. Oh yeah. Nunez is not the most efficient player. Yeah. Now, is he will he provide threat? He will, but he will not score. Yeah. Think about Raheem Sterling. In prime Raheem Sterling, he was always a threat, but the output wasn't there. Yeah.
It's kind of like target practice with a machine gun. You're not shooting the long rifle. You're just going, we're going to get one. We're going to get it, and it's going to be fast. But it's like we're not really focused on aiming so much as we are getting just the ball as close inside the box as possible and seeing what happens. Yeah. Well, but it works. That rapid style of play worked under Klopp. It's working here. I'm just saying you don't want to get into the shootout where all of a sudden we can't shoot straight anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it works because they know exactly, and keep pounding on until they get it. Now, if you are playing on the other side, you're playing against them. I think what you have to do is try to figure out how to take away space from Salah, Szoboszlai, Gakpo, Nunes, because if you shut them down, it's going to be difficult for that team to actually prosper. Just because they always find these tight spaces or where to run around like crazy mad people. But that's about it. I think that's what you have to do. So now if you look at Arsenal, 3-0 Nottingham Forest, I think that was much needed for Arsenal for a boost of morale, first of all. And another thing is just to get them in the spirit that they probably can come back if they can. But, you know, at this point, you can't really call off the race because you don't know if Liverpool is going to slip. So you want to make sure you can win the next games or matches as much as possible. So I would say Salah, man. Salah. I keep forgetting his name. Your right wing. Saka. Man, Saka played the goal he scored. It's like me on FIFA.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, cutting back and try to see if I'm gonna finesse it in, and there's a player, I'll push it a little bit, finesse. No, there's a player, push it again, finesse, and now in there.
Yep.
But you see how different the game looks when Odegaard is playing the game.
That is the biggest thing, and I think that's most important. It's almost like not that you're thankful for losses and draws, and inconsistent play, but you know how important he is to the side, and you know how important that style of player is. Now, you know, in the summer transfer, I'm not saying you just go get another Odegaard. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But you, instead of building and continuing to build the midfield around just him, you need to be looking a bit more for another creative midfielder to have that rotation, and Arda Güler or somebody like that, because it shows how important he is. And it's not that, you know, Marino doesn't matter, that Partey doesn't matter, because Partey scored a great goal as well, but you need to be able to have coverage for a midfielder that's in charge of that build-up of those creative through passes, because he is that essential. The entire thing crumbled. You know, you've got guys that can sit in the center and kind of backtrack and be the center man between Saliba and Gabriel. You have those guys.
Yeah.
You have the guys that can have simple link play, but you need to figure out if Odegaard's unable to play, or if he's run ragged in international competition in this, and we're in 18,000 competitions at the same time, because you've got to have somebody that can come in to relieve him without a complete shutdown of all creative thinking in the offensive buildup.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Now there's this guy. He was the youth, and he started playing for Arsenal since 2022. But he's been really good. You know his name?
Ethan Nwaneri.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man. So
you're just bad with names today. What's going on with the names today?
Like, how will Odegaard? Because I feel like that might be the midfield that they might need. But the problem is that I can say they might be playing same position in a sense.
Yeah,
I feel like he probably can adapt his style of play to play either a little bit low or just complement Odegaard. But I'm interested to see if that was what Arsenal is thinking going with, as far as as far as a midfielder. How will Arteta incorporate him with Odegaard?
Yeah, because he does look promising. It's just that he's 17, and I think that and you want to facilitate youth players. You want your youth players at every single club, in theory, to feel like they genuinely have a chance if they play well enough to get into the A squad. You want them to be able to feel that way. At the end of the day, 17. I mean, let's say that he hits his prime in 4 years. You need some coverage for Odegaard for 4 years.
Yeah.
So you do still need to bring somebody else in, I think. Now, of course, I think that a true number 9 is their most important piece that they need for the puzzle. But you do need a creative, playmaking midfielder to rotate with Odegaard, because you can't risk another thing like that unless he swears fealty to the fact that he's never going to play for Norway again, which isn't going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everywhere else on this pitch, if somebody goes down, there's somebody that's comparable to them that can come in and relieve them, except for Odegaard and Saka, although you have coverage up front is what I'm trying to say. No one as good as Saka, but there is no one that has the same play style and the same skill set that Odegaard has. And you can't rely on a 17-year-old for that, but he can definitely in 4 years be one of those true people in that rotation.
Yeah. Well, another thing is you look at Arsenal itself, and I know a lot of people, probably including me, were against Partey. Well, wanted Partey to leave just because injury prone, and with that you are just leeching off Arsenal at this point because you getting paid for nothing. But the one of the things that's a reason why we are probably not coaches. Arteta didn't listen to that, because if you look at Partey now, although we might say he's still injury prone if he gets injured.
He is, yeah.
But there's also you can really see how efficient or what he brings to the team itself, right? Which is really important. I mean, the last 2-3 games, very good.
And there are things that you have to maintain when he's on the pitch. Because we've had this, I think we've had the same conversation on the podcast. One, he has those shots in him.
Yeah,
that's not the first time he's done that for Arsenal or Atletico Madrid or anywhere else. But as long as your midfield and back line are able to keep a condensed version of the opponent, as long as he's not having to stretch too thin, as long as he's not having to leg it out places, because he has a long reach, he has a widespread tackle, he is really good in those spaces with long legs. It's just that he doesn't have the pace anymore. So as long as you can keep everybody contained and nobody's having to really rush after anybody, he is very consistent, and he is very deadly in those tight spaces, in those one-on-one duels where there's not much real estate for the person to move around with.
Which I think he will be like a Varane Ramos type deal where Ramos at some point didn't have that much pace. Of course, he had aggressivity and everything. So if I know I'm gonna be out of position, I need someone to cover it. Which probably Varane will come into place or something. Even someone like Marcelo, which had pace, but he couldn't come back to save his life, right? So you have probably Ramos kind of covering that space. So you just know how to mitigate if that happens.
And if you watch them play a lot, you know that Odegaard kind of does that.
Yes.
You know, because he sacrifices his own fitness for it, but I mean he's a part of the attacking build up. He's a part of the midfield transition, and he tracks back as well. And you can tell that he uses his pace to sort of cover up with Partey. And when Declan Rice is in good form, he's not the fastest guy, but he does backtrack and give that. Partey's one of those guys that you can't really let run ragged, but as long as he is within his space and is able to use his intelligence to get into the right placement, I mean, he's just as good as anybody else, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that too. As far as the league is concerned itself, I'm really happy. I mean, the fact that it's a little competitive, no, I wouldn't even say a little bit, but it's just different looking this year. Makes it such
open,
engaging, and you're really happy to. I'll be really interested to see who will win this at the end of the season,
and really who's going to get top 4 as well. Yeah,
because if Liverpool doesn't drop points, they're winning. But at the end of the day, it's human beings. So what if they drop point? Will City continue dropping point, or will at some point just stop and just win the rest of the season? Will Arsenal do the same thing? And there's just so much in there that I want to see what's going to happen. But the reality is, like you said, if they lost at Anfield, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be statistically as close to impossible as we've seen. In the Premier League era, for sure.
Definitely. So in La Liga, there's still just brushing a little bit while we are getting ready to finish this podcast. Still kind of the same issue. I know Madrid won, but Ancelotti last rumored, or probably I think he said it was a highlight of some newspaper or something. I think he said he will not change the formation, and they will have to adapt. Another.
Well, so hold on really fast. So he means that he's sticking to the 2-man front, because he was running a 3-man front for a while.
He's sticking to Mbappe being the striker until he understands how to play.
Gotcha. Okay.
Striker.
Because he does change between a 2 and a 3-man front, where at times Mbappe's not playing a true 9, but sometimes that he is.
Yes.
So I didn't know if he was saying
No,
like,
no.
God damn it, this is the formation now. You better fit in.
It's more about him
Roles.
understanding,
Sure.
that you have to get this through your head.
Yeah.
But another thing
That sucks to hear for Rodrigo, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of admitting that Rodrigo doesn't have a home.
Yeah. But the other thing I would say, I mean, they paid a lot. The next thing, well, not as far as transfer, but they paid the guy a lot. But the other thing is, I would say, is just a misform. Also the year, because I know a lot of players that when they weren't even as good as they, especially when you change position, is a little bit difficult where you have to adapt. But that's why I always said, in terms of African players, Eto'o was probably the greatest because he adapted to any position. And most people don't know, when he went to Inter Milan, he played right back for Mourinho, you know, and he played left wing. He wasn't even playing striker. That's probably why the goals he doesn't have high goals, because at some point instead of playing his position, and he was excelling in that, you know. So I think that might be the type deal. But that's another rumor that I actually read too this morning, that some people that these guys are emotionally involved in football and they're analysts, and they say if Mbappe could figure a way to go to Manchester United instead, because then he would get to play the left wing, because they don't feel like Rashford might be staying.
What would his incentive be to go to United?
The incentive is like he gets to play his position at still a high club, which is a historically big club, so you still get exposure in terms of entertainment and media.
I mean, I correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, couldn't he basically go play his natural position on basically anywhere but Real Madrid? I mean,
actually,
if he were to sign for Arsenal,
anybody,
he starts over Trossard, he starts over Martinelli, he takes that role straight up. He does. Chelsea, he takes it from Mudryk and because Palmer's in the middle. If
it doesn't work well in terms of adapting to that position, I wonder if his agent can talk him. Hey, it's a lot of, because I know Arsenal might not be able to pay the transfer money, but they might be able to pay at least 60 to 70% of his wages.
Yeah,
and there you get to play in a good system.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying.
And you play your position.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of anyone. I mean, even if he went to Liverpool, which was one of the rumors anyway, I mean, he starts over Diaz and Gakpo, and that's not even against them. It's just like, I mean, they would probably need someone else to cover the 9, but, you know, I think, imagine a front of Mbappe, Diogo Jota, and Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, I think for Madrid, it's just the situation where Vinicius owns the team. When I'm owning the team, he has made a lot of... He has proved himself.
He's put the time and the years into it.
Yes, so you can't just take that away from him. And he proves it every single day in and day out, or week out. So,
but I told you this from the start. I knew that this positioning thing was going to be an issue.
He just got to adapt. That's about it. Barcelona is still doing. It's a little difficult, and they drew the other day,
and they lost to Sociedad before that.
And so something's definitely going on, but they're still young. They will adapt and everything. So I know we gotta start looking at the Italian league, because there's a lot of great things happening and a lot of shifting and whatnot. But like I said, if you don't want to watch us, just go listen to us. We are on Spotify.
Our beautiful voices.
Yeah, go on TikTok and look at us.
Listen to them.
Everything is on TikTok. Everything is on YouTube and Instagram too. So there's no excuse for you. So go get the podcast. Yeah,
and we'll cover Champions League next week as well. We'll do sort of
we'll do a little recap about it.
We had to record a day late. We had some stuff going on. So Champions League stuff happened a couple of hours ago from where we're recording, so we haven't been able to watch any of the matches, but I'm looking at the scores right now. Very high scoring stuff.
Yeah. If you haven't looked at the score, just so you know, City drew against Feyenoord.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We said it before we started rolling. What was it? A possible 1 point out of a possible 18 of the last 6 matchups. That shit's wild.
They might not get straight qualifying. They might have to play the playoff.
Bayern squeaked one out against PSG. Leverkusen beat the shit out of Salzburg. Atletico Madrid beat the shit out of Sporting Praga, which, what are you going to do with that? And Arsenal really dominated Sporting as well.
Yeah, and Atlanta 6-1 against Young Boys.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of crazy, just saying young boys, but
yeah, what are you gonna do? Of course, they beat them. They're kids.
Yeah, Leverkusen 5-0 too.
Yeah.
They're doing good, I guess. And Barcelona, of course, if you play against Brest, you're gonna win. So I'm really interested to see other matchups are against big teams like Barcelona.
And
I don't
tomorrow,
think Barcelona had a big matchup yet.
Yeah, and tomorrow, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Have to watch that. Have to watch that. That's got to be unbelievable.
This might be at least the revenge if you can take it. You know,
because my wife and I, we have like 3 Thanksgivings that we have to go to.
Yeah.
So we book them out on different days. So we do a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday thing, which is a lot. But tomorrow it's at my family's. So
you watching the game there
on my phone, man. I'm not gonna give my family a time of day.
Liverpool.
Look at this matchup, man. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm like, pass the yams. That's it.
At least it's not the final, but it's a great game still because you want to know if Liverpool can take it back or take the win. But
if you're going to do what this is now, and Vinny's not going to play. Vinny's hurt.
Oh, I wonder if Mbappe is playing his position.
He will be. Yeah, Vinny's out for 3 to 4 weeks. We forgot to talk about that. I mean, this is the time to strike.
Yeah, like I said, go turn on your bell notification. Go subscribe and always make sure you follow.
Follow us.
Bye.
Goodbye.